आदर सम्मान देते हैं.
So in the 4th canto of the Bhagavatam, Lord Vishnu says, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and myself, we are the supreme cause of the material manifestation.
Okay. तो कैंटो 4 के अंदर 4 के अंदर भगवान ने ये कहा है कि ब्रह्मा, शिवा और मैं खुद यानी कृष्णा हम सुप्रीम जो है वो शक्तियां हैं जो कि इस यूनिवर्स की मैनिफेस्टेशन में भाग लेती हैं.
So Lord Vishnu says, I am the super soul, the self-sufficient witness, but impersonally, there's no difference between Brahma, Shiva, and myself.
जो लॉर्ड विष्णु हैं वो ये कहते हैं कि एक्चुअली तो हर चीज मुझी से उत्पन्न होती है, लेकिन लॉर्ड ब्रह्मा या शिवा में कोई बहुत ज्यादा अंतर नहीं है उनकी शक्तियों में या जिस तरह से वो भक्ति भाव से सारे कार्य करते हैं.
So in a certain context, all three divinities are one because they are all avatars or descending from Lord Krishna for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world.
Sure. So जो प्रकृति के 3 फंक्शन होते हैं आप सभी जानते हैं, उसमें प्रकृति की क्रिएशन होती है, उसमें मेंटेनेंस होती है और डिस्ट्रक्शन होती है. तो उन सबको देखने वाले श्री कृष्णा हैं और श्री कृष्णा ही लॉर्ड शिवा, ब्रह्मा और विष्णु के रूप में ये सारे कार्य संभव करते हैं.
So they are known as guna avatars, and they preside over the mode of passion by Lord Brahma, the creator, the mode of goodness by Lord Vishnu, and the mode of ignorance is embodied by Lord Shiva, the destroyer.
इसीलिए कहा जाता है कि भगवान विष्णु सात्विक गुण के अवतार हैं और जो लॉर्ड शिवा है वो तमोगुण के अवतार हैं और जो लॉर्ड ब्रह्मा है वो ऑब्वियसली रजोगुण के अवतार हैं. रजोगुण से जो है वो कार्यशील करते हैं.
So all three of these avatars are considered aspects of the same principle of Godhead.
So इन तीनों को जब हम समझते हैं तो ये बेसिकली प्रिंसिपल्स या उसूल है जिसकी बेस पर जो कृष्ण है, जो मेन सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी है, वो अपने कार्य करती है और प्रकृति चलती है इससे.
So I would like to address Lord Brahma. He spoke the first hymn, the first Vedic hymn. He went into tapasya, austerity, for 10,000 years, in which he was meditating upon Lord Krishna, and he wrote this beautiful Brahma Sanghita, which Lord Chaitanya discovered in the ISKCON temple in South India.
So basically प्रभु जी हमें बताएंगे, लाभदायक करेंगे कि ब्रह्मा जब सृष्टि की उत्पत्ति हुई थी तो उन्होंने किस तरह से भगवान की स्तुति की थी और आज भी श्री चैतन्य के कनेक्शन में हम देखें तो इसको गाया जाता है स्तुति के तौर पर.
So can we go on to the next slide, please? Shiram yata dadivikara vishesha yoga sanjayate nahitata pritagasti heto yashambhutam apitata samupaiti karyan govindamadi pusham tamaham bhajami. Let's try to chant that together, okay?
इसमें साथ में गाइएगा.
Yata divikara vishesha yoga sanjayate nahitata pritagasti heto yashambhutam apitata samupaiti karyan I'll do that one more time and then you repeat also. Shiram yatada vikara vishesha yogan sanjayate nahitati heto yasham bhutam apitata sampaitikariyan Vindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Could we have the translation, please?
Next slide.
Yes, thank you. Ramanatha Prabhu, would you like to read the translation, please?
Sure. Milk changes into yogurt when mixed with a yogurt culture, but actually yogurt is constitutionally nothing but milk. Similarly, Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, assumes the form of Lord Shiva for the special purpose of material transactions. I offer my obeisances at Lord Govinda's lotus feet.
Thank
Okay,
you very much.
translation.
So I'd just like to
Translation.
say there's some noise there.
Ramsaka Prabhu has just joined in.
I see that Ramasaka Prabhu is here, and first time I'm seeing his divine countenance, and I want to thank you, Ramasaka Prabhu, for allowing Ramanatha Prabhu and I to join you on this auspicious day. And it was your sister that's been attending our discussions on the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and it's by her mercy that she's introduced us to you. So it's an honor to meet you. Thank you for doing this service of spreading Krishna consciousness in Pakistan for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said he takes the dust from the feet of anyone who is spreading Krishna consciousness in the Muslim countries. So I am virtually taking the dust from your feet today and that of Nitya Radha. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet.
Yes, mine to you. I just before we open things up to questions and answers, I just like to say that regarding this verse that Lord Brahmaji speaks, although milk and yogurt are essentially not different, yogurt is a product of milk, and one can use milk to make ghee, cheese, ice cream, barfi, sandesh, pera, palak paneer, or yogurt, but one cannot turn yogurt into milk. So clearly, Lord Shiva's divinity is intimately connected and even dependent upon his relationship to Lord Vishnu. And also in the third canto, it states that the blessed Lord Shiva becomes even more blessed by bearing on his head the holy waters of the Ganges, which has as its source the water that washed the lotus feet of Lord Vamanadev. And Prabhupada explains that Lord Shiva is important because he's holding on his head the holy Ganges water, which has its origin in the foot wash of Lord Vishnu. So that's also, as my dear Guru Bhai Ramanatha Sukha was reminding me, the fact that Lord Shiva is receiving the foot bath of Lord Vishnu upon his head shows the humble, submissive mood of Lord Shiva to that of Lord Vishnu. So we'd like to open things up.
This is what Lord Chaitanya said when he was in South India listening to these debates. So this analogy comes from Mahaprabhu.
Yes,
So,
and what? Yes.
Are you going to translate? Are you going to translate?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes, please.
Okay. So basically, हम सब जानते हैं कि जो दूध है वो बेसिक इंग्रेडिएंट है. उस दूध से जैसे प्रभु ने भी कहा कि दही बन सकती है उसको जब आप डिफरेंट प्रोसीजर से बनाते हैं. तो इसमें बेसिकली एग्जांपल दी गई है कि जो लॉर्ड कृष्णा है वो दूध है और उससे जब दही के तौर पर शिवा की उत्पत्ति की जाती है तो दूध से तो बहुत सारे जो है वो उत्पत्तियां की जा सकती हैं, अवतार निकल सकते हैं, लेकिन दही को वापस ही आप दूध में कन्वर्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो लॉर्ड चैतन्य ने इसको जो हमें एक्सप्लेन करके बताया है वो इस विषय में बताया है कि जो लॉर्ड गोविंदा है उसकी हम शरण लेते हैं क्योंकि वही सुप्रीम लॉर्ड है, वही हमारे जो है वो पूज्य योग है और वो हमारे सेव्य योग हैं.
So we'll just open it up for a little discussion for a few minutes before Ramanatha Sukha Prabhu begins his part of the presentation. Steve Prabhu, do you have any thoughts or questions about anything you've heard so far?
किसी का कोई सवाल है तो प्लीज बताइएगा. आप प्रभु से पूछ सकते हैं उर्दू में मुझे बताएं, मैं इंग्लिश में पूछूंगी प्रभु से. And Steve Prabhu has joined, so our humble obeisances for joining. And if there is any question in English, he can also ask in English.
Thank you, Haribol. Thank you for the opportunity to ask you a question. Everything has been very clear and concise, and I'm enjoying and loving it all. Thank you so much.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Does anyone else? It doesn't have to be a question. You may have a comment to make. Ram Sakha Prabhu, would you like to share something, Ram Sakha Prabhu?
Ram Sakha Prabhu, Chetan Kumar has raised his hand. Chetan Kumar, please go ahead.
Just some internet problems, sir.
Yeah, it's okay, Ram Sakha Prabhu, take your time. Yeah. So Chetan Prabhu wants to ask question. Yeah, please go ahead.
I hope you all can hear me clearly.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Pranam to all of you all. I am here along with my kids, my students. I've got approximately 5 students along with me, and the age factor is between 7 years to 12 years maximum, and along with me is my wife as well. We just need to know a basic question regarding Shivratri. We have lots of misconception and a kind of conception that we need to know the initiation of Shivratri. Earlier, it was yesterday that we attended a session at Ram Sakhadas Prabhu at Gaura, and it was made aware to us that it is the wedding of Lord Shiva and Mata Parvati. But there is lots of misconception here that Lord Shiva had the poison which he had taken for the service of the mankind. So is this which version is the accurate one? This is the question.
I heard that this is actually commemorating the wedding of Lord Shiva and Parvati, but I'd like to turn this over to Ramanatha Sukha Prabhu because he's more of a specialist.
I've heard both. It's hard to really understand, when it comes to these kind of things, what really what the reality actually is. Yeah, it's both the celebration of the marriage of Shiva and Parvati and the manifestation of Lord Shiva into the material world. So it can be seen that way. But yeah, Shivratri has its roots in antiquity. It goes a long time ago. So, people who study Indology, scholars in school, there's certain things that they cannot really understand. And actually, when you get into Lord Shiva specifically, it gets very difficult, mystical.
Thank you very much. So I brief in Urdu translation for other participants. सवाल चेतन प्रभु ने ये किया था कि जो शिवरात्रि है वो क्यों मनाते हैं हम और उसका क्या रीजन है. तो इसमें बेसिक जो है वो पर्पस क्या होता है. तो गौरा प्रभु और रामानाथ प्रभु ने इसका जवाब दिया है कि इसमें बेसिकली 2-3 इसमें थॉट प्रोसेस है. 2-3 इसमें जो है वो हमें पता चलता है शास्त्र द्वारा जो इंसिडेंसेस हैं, जैसे कि मैरिज ऑफ लॉर्ड Shiva with Ma Parvati and other thing is manifestation of Lord Shiva Tattva. तो उसमें Lord Shiva जो है वो basically लिंग की उत्पत्ति के बारे में भी हमें past times पता चलते हैं. So बहुत सारे इसमें जो है वो theories हैं. किसी और को कोई प्रश्न है तो प्लीज पूछिएगा. उर्दू में भी अगर है तो आप प्लीज कृपया पूछिएगा. किसी का सवाल है तो प्लीज पूछें. Prabhu, is this suffice your answer?
Yes, Mataji, it does. I just want to add one more thing that I just need to request the Prabhus to shower the blessings onto me and my kids and my family so that they may also accept the path of Krishna consciousness in their future life, and may they be blessed with the blessings of Prabhupada.
Sure.
Whatever blessings I've received from Srila Prabhupada, may he empower your entire family to reclaim all of your area there for the service of Sri Krishna.
May
Thank you,
Lord
thank you
Shiva
very much.
bestow you and your family pure love for Krishna, especially
Thank
today.
you, Prabhu.
Yes, it will come.
थैंक यू वेरी मच चेतन
Sorry.
प्रभु फॉर आस्किंग क्वेश्चन. सो किसी और का सवाल है, कोई भी मन में शंका है या कोई क्लैरिफिकेशन चाहते हैं तो कृपया पूछिए आप.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have one question.
यस यस
Hare Krishna Mataji.
या श्योर.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
यस
Thank you for the Ramanatha Prabhu. One question is, what is the difference between Sadashiva and Shiva and Rudra?
ओके.
This one.
Good
that
question.
is exactly Ramanatha Prabhu's presentation. He'll be addressing this.
Exactly. I'll be addressing that.
So why don't you start now, Ramanatha, with whatever you
Yeah.
wanted to. It's your time now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for this opportunity to say something in glorification of Shiva Mahadev and try and deepen our understanding of a complex topic. Do you want to translate? How do you want to
Yeah,
do it?
sure. So next slide.
Yes, do the next slide.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and read it. It is said, Vaishnavanam ita Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the best of all devotees. Therefore, all devotees of Lord Krishna are also devotees of Lord Shiva. Srimad
ये कहा
Bhagavatam
जाता है.
24:30. Okay, now you need to translate, right?
Sure. So कहा जाता है कि वैष्णवा नाम यथा शंभु. तो जो लॉर्ड शिवा है वो सबसे परम वैष्णवा है, सबसे बेस्ट वैष्णवा है. तो इसी तरह से जो सारे डिवोटी हैं कृष्णा के, वो भी लॉर्ड शिवा की डिवोटी हैं. श्रीमद् भागवतम Canto 4, 24 chapter 30 verse. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So we are devotees, mainly devotees of Krishna, but we're also devotees of Shiva. The question is, how does that work together? What does it mean?
तो सवाल
Go
ये
ahead.
है कि हम कृष्णा के भक्त हैं और जो शिवा है वो कृष्ण के भक्त हैं. तो कैसे समझें, इसका तात्पर्य क्या है, वो प्रभु बताएंगे.
Yeah. And we know Lord Shiva as the destroyer, and he destroys the universe. But for the devotees, he has another capacity as destroyer. He destroys ignorance, material desire, and ahankara, or false ego.
हम ये जानते हैं कि लॉर्ड शिवा पूरी प्रकृति का विनाश करते हैं, लेकिन एक जो हमें समझने वाली बात है वो ये है कि जो हमें अहंकार है, जो प्राइड है, जो विषय विकार है, उनको भी डिस्ट्रॉय करते हैं लॉर्ड शिवा.
Okay, let's go to the next slide of Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Okay, someone should read this. Maybe Gaura, why don't you read this out loud?
Gaura
And then,
Govinda Swami shared a very confidential information with a few of his godbrothers, how once Lord Shiva asked Srila Prabhupada that he had been traveling all over the world preaching, but had never visited Bhubaneswar. Bhubaneswar is known to be the initial place of Bhagavan recitation, Bhagavatam recitation.
Bhagavatam, yes.
Lord Shiva instructed Srila Prabhupada to come and stay in Bhubaneswar and work on the Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada accepted the order from Lord Shiva and visited Bhubaneswar in January 1977. This is from His Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada's disciple.
So I translate.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure. So Gaura Govinda Swami ने एक बहुत कॉन्फिडेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन, बहुत ही गुप्त जो है वो उन्होंने ज्ञान हमें दिया कि श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने बहुत सारे जितने भी तीर्थ धाम थे वो विजिट किए थे, लेकिन भुवनेश्वर नहीं गए थे. तो भुवनेश्वर जो है वो कहा जाता है कि भागवतम रेसिटेशन की इनिशियल मेन प्लेस है, पिलग्रिमेज है. कहा जाता है, जो गौर गोविंद महाराज है उन्होंने बताया कि शिवा भगवान ने श्रीला प्रभुपाद के पास आए और कहा कि आप जो है वो भागवतम पर काम करें, भागवतम का जो है वो पूरा निर्माण करें. तो उसके पर्पट वगैरह लिखे हैं। तो शिला प्रभुपाद ने उनका जो आदर किया, जो ऑर्डर था शिवा का, क्योंकि लॉर्ड शिवा ने उनको जो है वो ये आके इंस्ट्रक्शन दी, और फिर उसके बाद शिला प्रभुपाद 1977 में भुवनेश्वर गए। यस।
Yeah, so this is little known information. Many devotees don't know about this.
No,
Right, Gaura? Did you know
No.
about it?
no, no. This
Okay, so
isn't-
Mata, just say that this is little known information. This is some esoteric research that I discovered. This is not well known, that Prabhupada had this relationship with Shiva like this.
सो ये वाली बहुत ही गुप्त इंफॉर्मेशन है और ये किसी को नहीं पता, और ये प्रभु जी ने रिसर्च की है इस पूरे टॉपिक के ऊपर कि शिला प्रभुपाद के पास लॉर्ड शिवा आए और शिवा ने उनको ये कहा कि आप भागवतम का निर्माण करना चाहते हैं तो भुवनेश्वर जाएं, वहां पर लॉर्ड शिवा की जो है वो कनेक्शन में सारी निर्माण करें।
So I'm going to talk a little bit about Lingaraj in Bhuvaneshwar, because when we understand a little bit about Lingaraj, we'll understand better why Prabhupada had this vision and was invited by Lord Shiva to come to Bhuvaneshwar.
सो प्रभु जी जो है वो बेसिकली बताएंगे कि शिला प्रभुपाद क्यों भुवनेश्वर में आए थे और लिंगराज का उसमें क्या कनेक्शन है।
First of all, the Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken from Lord Shiva to Parvati in Bhuvaneshwar. Again, this is little known information. Devotees don't know. The very first recitation of Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva spoke it to Parvati.
जो सबसे पहली रेसिटेशन थी भागवतम की वो लॉर्ड शिवा ने पढ़ी थी, और ये इंफॉर्मेशन भक्तों को या बहुत ज्यादा लोगों को नहीं पता। प्रभु जी ने रिसर्च किया तो वो हम तक ज्ञान ये पहुंच रहा है।
And we're going to be describing exactly who is Lingaraj. And so let's go to the next slide. We'll describe more about Lingaraj. Okay, let me read this one. We'll switch off, you and me, Gaura, and then she'll translate.
Sure.
In the consideration of pure Vaishnavas, Sri Bhuvaneshwar Shambhu is most dear to Krishna and is therefore non-different from Krishna. Now, this is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati speaking. And is therefore non-different from Krishna. The Rupanuga Vaishnavas consider Sri Bhuvaneshwar Lingaraj to be the form of Sri Gopalini Shakti and pray to him for the service of the divine young couple Sri Radha Govinda. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Go ahead, now you need to translate.
Shall I?
Yeah?
Okay.
Just translate what I read.
Okay. So वैष्णवास की जब हम बात करें तो जो श्री भुवनेश्वर शंभू हैं वो कृष्ण के बहुत बहुत निकट हैं और कृष्ण को बहुत प्यारे हैं। इसी वजह से जो श्री भुवनेश्वर शंभू हैं वो कृष्णा से अलग नहीं है। ही इज नॉट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम कृष्णा। और जो रूपानुगा वैष्णव जो है होते हैं वो सब ये बताते हैं कि भुवनेश्वर में जो लिंगा राजा है वो श्री गोपालिनी शक्ति के ही जो है वो फॉर्म है, और उनसे प्रार्थना की जाती है कि जो श्री राधा कृष्णा राधा गोविंदा है उनकी हम सेवा में रहें।
So here's an important distinction, because generally, as Gaura was saying, we make a distinction between Shiva Tattva and Vishnu Tattva as the analogy of milk and yogurt. But here, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is saying that this Lingaraj deity is non-different from Krishna.
So basically ये या सो बेसिकली एनर्जी में तो हम ये बताते हैं कि दूध जो है वो दही के होने का कारण है, दूध से दही बनती है। लेकिन ये हम जब भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर जी की ये कोट पढ़ते हैं, रेफरेंस पढ़ते हैं, तो हमें पता चलता है कि जो लिंगा राज है वो भी श्री राधे गोविंदा की सर्विस में जब हमें आना है तो इसी से प्रार्थना करेंगे, और ये भी भगवान कृष्ण का ही रूप है।
So this gets into a complex topic of the distinction between Sadashiva and Shiva.
सो ये एक बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स टॉपिक है, बहुत मुश्किल और जो है वो टफ टॉपिक है कि हम देखें कि लॉर्ड शिवा और लॉर्ड सदा शिवा जो है वो में उनमें फर्क क्या है, अंतर क्या है.
Because the Lingaraj deity, he is actually Sadashiva, which is the same as Vishnu or Krishna, no difference. Even though we see he's Shiva, actually it's Vishnu.
तो लिंगाराज जो डीटी है, जो उसकी प्रतिमा है, वही सदा शिव है, और हम इस कोट से पढ़ सकते हैं कि जो लिंगाराज है वही कृष्णा है, तो कोई फर्क नहीं है, कोई अंतर नहीं है.
There are in India 12 famous Jyotirlingam temples.
इंडिया में 12 जो है वो ज्योतिर्लिंगा टेम्पल्स हैं.
So the Lingaraj temple is the Dikpal, the protector for Jagannath Puri. He's a very important Shiva lingam, but he is not one of these 12 Jyotirlingams.
एग्जैक्टली जो जगन्नाथपुरी में आप जाके देखेंगे तो लिंगाराम जो है वो उसकी लिंगाराजा जो डीटी है वो वहाँ प्रोटेक्शन के लिए है जगन्नाथपुरी में, लेकिन वो जो 12 जो टेम्पल्स हैं उसमें उसकी काउंटिंग नहीं की जाती है.
He is Lingaraj. He is the king of all these other Jyotirlingams. He is the king, Lingaraj.
इनको हम राजा कहते हैं. He is लिंगाराज. He is king of all the ling.
So,
You're speaking in English. You forgot your Urdu.
I mean, both sort of people are there actually. So Urdu and English.
well, translation has to be there. It's okay. So yeah, the king of lingams. Now, why is he the king of lingams? Well, first of all, he's the protector of Jagannath Baladev Subhadra.
हम इसको इसलिए किंग कहते हैं या राजा कहते हैं बिकॉज ये प्रोटेक्टर है, ये सुरक्षा करते हैं जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा की.
And he is considered to be half Vishnu, half Shiva, and that's known as Harihara. Harihara.
तो इनको बेसिकली कहा जाता है कि हाफ कृष्णा है और हाफ लॉर्ड महादेव है, तो इसलिए हरिहरा कहते हैं. हरि मींस लॉर्ड विष्णु और कृष्णा, एंड हरा मींस लॉर्ड महादेव.
Yes, Harihara.
Yeah.
So this is a very special manifestation, but this makes him the king. He is not equal to any of these other 12 Jyotirlingams. Today, for Shivratri, or I guess for some people it was yesterday, everyone's celebrating Shivratri, and many of them try to go to one of these, Jyotirlingams in India.
Exactly.
But, go ahead.
या तो ये बहुत ही स्पेशल जो है वो इसकी मैनिफेस्टेशन है या इसकी उत्पत्ति होती है, और बहुत से लोग जो है वो नहीं जानते हैं कि ये स्पेशल लिंगा राजा है और जगन्नाथपुरी में है, और बाकी जगहों पे इंडिया के लोग बहुत विजिट करते हैं शिवरात्रि के दौरान या ज्यादा उनकी शिव की पूजा करने के लिए.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. We'll continue this exploration, what's going on.
Sure.
Okay.
My turn?
Okay. Now this. Well, let me chant this verse.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to have everyone repeat it, but let me chant the verse, and then Gaura, do you want to chant this meaning? But let me chant the verse.
Sure.
Vrindavanavani pate jaya soma soma mole sanatana sanandana sanata naradeya Gopishvara Vraja Vilasi Yugangri Padme Prema Prayacha Nirupadi Nama Namaste. So please read the explanation, because this is glorification. Before you read it, actually, let me explain it just a little bit. This is a verse from a famous Vaishnavacharya, and it's explaining Gopishvara Mahadev, not Lingaraj. Go ahead and translate that first before you read it.
Okay. Sorry, can you please repeat it? Pardon?
That this verse that I'm having, that I'm quoting, is actually a verse in glorification of Gopeshwara Mahadev, not Lingaraj. I'm going to connect the two in just a minute.
बेसिकली अब जो वर्ष प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं वो गोपेश्वर की रेफरेंस में लिंक है, सॉरी के कनेक्शन में है.
Maybe they don't know. Gopesh Mahadev is a famous temple in Vrindavan.
हो सकता है कि आप लोगों ने नहीं सुना हो कि गोपेश्वर महादेव का जो फेमस टेम्पल है वो वृंदावन में है.
Yes, and he serves a very similar function that Lingaraj serves to Jagannath. He is the Dikpala, he's the protector of the Dham.
So basically दिक्पाला जिसको हम कहते हैं प्रोटेक्टर, वो बहुत सुरक्षा करते हैं धाम की. तो लिंगराज के फॉर्म में वो जगन्नाथ को है.
Okay, so Gaura, go ahead and read the English and we'll let her translate also.
O gatekeeper of Vrindavan, O Soma, all glories unto you, O you whose forehead is decorated with the moon, and who is worshipable by Sanak, Sanandana, Sanatana, Narad, and other great sages. O Gopishvara, desiring that you bestow upon me divine love for the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Govinda, who perform joyous pastimes in Vrajadam, I offer my respects unto you again and again. And this was spoken by the Acharya Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Now, I brought up this. Oh, go ahead. You have to translate. Go ahead.
So, जो भुवनेश्वर भगवान है, जिनकी प्रभु ने बताया कि वृंदावन में जो है वो उनका टेम्पल है, स्थान है, और उसमें ये वर्ष की उनकी स्तुति में बताई गई है. वृंदावन के गेट कीपर है, मीन्स उसके प्रोटेक्टर है, गार्ड है एक्चुअली. ओ सोमा, ओ ग्लोरीज अनटू यू, यानी आपकी जय जयकार है. आपके जो फोरहेड, माथे पर जो मून है, चांद, चंद्रमा है, वो बेसिकली वर्शिप उसको किया जाता है. बहुत से ऋषि मुनि, सनक आदि, सनातन, सनंदन, नारद मुनि एंड दूसरे जितने भी ऋषि मुनि हैं, वो सब जो चंद्रमा आपके माथे पर है उसकी पूजा करते हैं, उसको नमस्कार करते हैं. ये गोपेश्वरा, वृंदावन में हम उनको गोपेश्वरा कहते हैं. तो बेसिकली हम जब ये उनकी स्तुति करते हैं, और हम मेरी जो डिजायर है वो ये है कि श्री राधा गोविंदा के चरणों की हमें हमेशा ब्रज धाम में सेवा मिलती रहे. मैं आपको बारंबार नमस्कार करता हूँ. ये श्रीला विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर जी ने कहा है.
Yes. So these two deities are actually the same in identity, in the sense that they are both Harihara or Sadashiva, meaning that they're non-different from Vishnu.
So basically ये deities हम देखते हैं तो ये बिल्कुल ही different है. हरिहरा और सदाशिवा, ये और दूसरे भी जो रूप हैं, इसमें बहुत ज्यादा अंतर बताया गया है.
And when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati visited Bhubaneswar in 1922 to have darshan of Lingaraj, he quoted this verse to Gopishwar Mahadev, who is in Vrindavan. And he said, well, what's going on there? Why this verse?
तो भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज ने जब 1972, right, प्रभु?
1922, Bhaktisiddhanta.
Okay, so 1922 में जब 1922 में जब भक्तिसिद्धांत महाराज ने विजिट किया था वृंदावन में, तो he was like
99 years ago.
Yeah. So उन्होंने ये सोचा कि क्या कनेक्शन है और भुवनेश्वर महादेव की कहाँ जो है वो किस तरह से पूजा की जाती है. तो he was thinking in that direction.
Yes. So this is important that devotees of Krishna learn how to make the distinction between Sadashiva and regular Shiva, because Sadashiva is so important to us. Sadashiva is also there as Advaita Acharya.
इसलिए भक्तों के लिए जानना बहुत जरूरी है कि शिवा एंड सदा शिवा का अंतर जाने. सदा शिवा हमारे लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, बिकॉज श्री अद्वैता आचार्य जी वो उनका ही इनकारनेशन है.
Yeah, so we have to start connecting the dots, so to speak. Advaita Acharya, Gopishwar Mahadev in Vrindavan, and Lingaraj in Bhubaneswar.
So हमें ये समझने की जरूरत है कि हम सारे डॉट्स को कनेक्ट करें. सदाशिवा भुवनेश्वर में जो लिंगाराज है और जो श्री अद्वैत आचार्य का जो जन्म है, तो इन सबको हम जो है वो समझ सकते हैं बिकॉज दे ऑल आर कनेक्टेड.
Okay, yeah, they're all Sadashiva.
वो सारे सदाशिवा हैं.
Okay, let's go to the next slide and we'll deepen the plot.
तो हम आगे जाते हैं नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में.
Okay, now this, I'll read it. This is actually, I have to explain it before I read it. This is actually coming from 8 verses in glorification of Lord Shiva spoken by Lord Chaitanya, and it's known as the Shivastakam. Can you say that before I read this?
ये बेसिकली लॉर्ड चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने शिवा की स्तुति में ग्लोरिफिकेशन में कही थी, जिसको हम कहते हैं शिवाष्टकम.
Now, we all know, well, we should know, those that are studying or practicing Krishna consciousness, that Lord Chaitanya left with us 8 prayers called the Shikshashtakam, but this is something else. This is called Shivastakam. Astakam meaning 8, and Shiva's in glorification of Shiva.
Sure. So लॉर्ड चैतन्य की जो ग्लोरिफिकेशन करते हैं तो स्तुति गाई जाती है, हम सबको पता है, उसको शिक्षा अष्टकम कहते हैं. और जब लॉर्ड शिवा का हम करते हैं तो उसको शिवा अष्टकम कहते हैं. अष्टकम is 8 prayers.
Now, this is an important part of our Gaudiya history, and it's interesting that actually Srila Prabhupada, in all of my research, he never talked about it.
बेसिकली ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट है. पूरी हिस्ट्री हम देखें, पूरा इतिहास हम देखें तो इस पे लोग ज्यादा बात नहीं करते हैं इस विषय के ऊपर. श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने हमें डायरेक्शन दी है, बट नाउ वी नीड टू टेक आउट एंड वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट द
I can tell you it was about 20 years ago, the Shivastakams were printed in Back to Godhead magazine. Just a 1-page article, nothing elaborate.
20
So,
साल
I mean,
पहले
but most devotees don't know about it.
बहुत सारे डिवोटीज को नहीं पता. 20 साल पहले 20 years ago बैक टू गॉड हेड मैगजीन में ये पब्लिश हुआ था शिवाष्टकम.
Yeah. So this is the 7th for, I don't have time to go over all 8. They're all beautiful prayers by Lord Chaitanya in glorification of Lord Shiva. I'm just going over one. Actually, you can look it up on the internet if you want to, the other prayers, but go ahead, explain that and then I'll.
So basically इतना टाइम नहीं है पूरा इतनी सारी वर्सेस को हम पढ़ें. लॉर्ड चैतन्य ने जो उनकी स्तुति की लॉर्ड शिवा की, लेकिन मेन चीजों पे प्रभु हमें गाइड करेंगे.
So let me read this and then you'll translate. I offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto you, Lord Shiva, who is forever inquired of confidentially by Sri Narada and other sages, unto you, who also grants favors to them very quickly, unto you, who bestows the happiness of Hari Bhakti, unto you, who creates auspiciousness, and unto you, who is the guru of everyone.
मैं आपको बारंबार नमस्कार करता हूँ लॉर्ड शिवा, जो कि नारद मुनि वगैरह भी जिनका गुणगान गाते हैं, ऋषि मुनि गुणगान गाते हैं, और आप ही हैं जो कि भक्तों को फेवर ग्रांट करते हैं, उनकी मनोकामनाओं को बहुत क्विकली, बहुत इजीली, जल्दी आप जो है वो ब्लेसिंग्स देते हैं, और बहुत ज्यादा जो भक्तों को प्रसन्नता देने वाले हैं वो आप ही हैं. और आपकी जय जयकार हो. आप ही हैं जो शुभ जो है वो मर्सी और कृपा और अनुकंपा से प्रदान करते हैं भक्तों को, और आप सबके गुरु हैं. यू आर जगत गुरु.
Now, this is very important because Lord Chaitanya is the Adi Guru for the Hare Krishna movement, and he's saying wonderful glorifications of Shiva, and one of the things that he's saying that Shiva is the guru of everyone.
So ये बहुत important बात है. जो हरे कृष्णा मूवमेंट है, कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस, इसमें आदि गुरु जो है वो लॉर्ड शिवा है, और इसमें हमें बता रहे हैं चैतन्य महाप्रभु कि he is a guru of everyone.
Yet Srila Prabhupada never mentions it. The question is why.
लेकिन शिला प्रभुपाद ने अभी तक मेंशन नहीं की है ये बात इस तरह से बहुत क्लियरली, क्यों वो प्रभु बताएंगे अभी.
I cannot answer that question.
I just said
I
that.
cannot.
I just said
But
that.
I can give you the background information of how these prayers manifested by Lord Chaitanya, and that's important.
तो बेसिकली प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं कि वो कोई उसका रेफरेंस नहीं है, लेकिन उसकी बैकग्राउंड इंफॉर्मेशन हमें वो जरूर समझाएंगे. प्रभु जी, वी हैव लेफ्ट आई थिंक 5 minutes.
Oh, we're stopping at that. Okay, so this is a 1 hour. Okay. So okay.
No, sorry. It was till 10, so we do have. I'm so sorry. It's like we have 35 minutes more here. So sorry.
Yeah, I thought we're doing an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Because I won't be able to explain everything otherwise.
Yeah,
And
no, it's okay.
I'm going to leave everyone hanging with this mystery.
Yeah, I'm sorry I got mistaken actually. Yeah.
Okay. So let me just try. I'm trying to keep it short and to the point, but let's try and go through it, okay?
Sure.
So this is what happened. Lord Chaitanya was on his way to Jagannath Puri. Go ahead.
Lord Chaitanya, sorry.
Lord Chaitanya was going to, on his way to Jagannath Puri. He wanted to have darshan of Lord Jagannath for the first time. He's on his way to Jagannath Puri and he stops in Bhuvaneshwar.
जब लॉर्ड चैतन्य जगन्नाथ पुरी में जाते हैं भगवान जगन्नाथ के दर्शन करने, तो हमेशा वो स्टॉप होते हैं भुवनेश्वर में.
Yeah, because the tradition is before you see Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, you take darshan of Lingaraj, who allows you entrance into Puri Dham so that you can have a Krishna conscious experience with the Lord.
So क्योंकि परंपरा ये शास्त्रिक अनुसार जो इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं वो ये है कि जब भी हम भगवान जगन्नाथ के दर्शन के लिए जाएं, तो सबसे पहले जो है वो लिंगा राजा के जो है वो दर्शन करें भुवनेश्वर में.
Now, Gopishwar Mahadev in Vrindavan serves a very similar function.
इसी तरह से
For any devotee who goes to, let me just finish this other sentence. Any devotee who goes to Vrindavan, specifically, they should actually go to Gopishwar Mahadev and beg for the ability to actually enter into Vrindavan.
इसी तरह से वृंदावन में जब दर्शन के लिए जाते हैं भक्त, तो उनके लिए ये महत्वपूर्ण होता है कि वो लॉर्ड गोपेश्वर के दर्शन करें, उनका आशीष लें और फिर भगवान के दर्शन प्राप्त करें.
This raksha that I'm wearing, that's from going to the Gopishwar Mahadev temple in Vrindavan
I offer my obeisance.
last February. Because you had reminded me that we must first get the blessings of Gopishwar Mahadev. I thought, okay, I'm only in Vrindavan for 5 days. I want to visit the Goswami's temples. Let me go to Lord Shiva's temple first. And I didn't realize it was Shivratri the day that I went. And it was crazy. 1,000 people were trying to squeeze into this tiny mandir. Anyway, sorry for interrupting.
No, that's actually good. I want to bring up one, now that you said that, I want to bring up a point that connects everything a little bit more also. On Mahashivaratri, oh, actually, no, it was Mahashivaratri?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make a side issue that in Vrindavan, on Advaita Acharya's appearance day, everyone goes to that same Shiva Lingam, Gopishwar Mahadev, because they know that Shiva Lingam to be Sadashiva.
ब्यूटीफुल. सो प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं कि जब महाशिवरात्रि जब आचार्य अद्वैत आचार्य जी का जब अपीयरेंस होता है या डिसअपीयरेंस डे होता है, तो जो भक्त जन हैं वो शिवा लिंगा के ऊपर जाते हैं, क्योंकि दे नो दैट इज अ सदा शिवा अवतारा एंड इट्स इनकार्नेशन.
And this is also indicated by Bhaktisiddhanta, who was glorifying Lingaraj by prayers to Gopishwar Mahadev. They're Sada Shiva. It's the same Shiva. Actually, you could say it's the same Shiva, but for the devotee who has eyes to see, it's Vishnu. not different, no difference.
ओके, सो प्रभु जी ये बता रहे हैं कि सिमिलरली जब हम वृंदावन की बात करें तो सदाशिवा और लिंगा राजा ये सेम ही है और अद्वैता आचार्य भी सेम ही है, तो कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है.
So when Lord Chaitanya is in Bhuvaneshwar, he's traveling with a companion, Murari Gupta.
जब श्री चैतन्य ट्रेवल कर रहे होते हैं तो अपना उनके साथ जो साथी होता है मुरारी गुप्ता जी, उनके साथ ट्रेवल करते हैं.
Yes. And Murari Gupta, he kept a journal, he kept a diary. He would write down everything Mahaprabhu did and said. He just kept a diary.
जो मुरारी गुप्ता जी हैं उनके पास डायरी होती है जिसमें वो सब कुछ नोट डाउन करते हैं. चैतन्य महाप्रभु कहाँ जा रहे हैं, क्या उनका ट्रेवलिंग एक्सपीरियंस है, पास्ट टाइम्स है, he records everything.
Yeah, so much of the information in Chaitanya Charitamrita came from this diary of Murari Gupta.
So हम
Not
जो
all of it,
चैतन्य
much of it.
महाप्रभु की में जो लीलाएं पढ़ते हैं, चैतन्य महाप्रभु से जो सॉरी चैतन्य महाप्रभु
So we know,
sorry.
So we know that Lord Chaitanya is having, in the Bhuvaneshwar temple for Lingaraj, and he's dancing in ecstasy.
Yeah.
He's having darshan of Shiva, Lingaraj, understanding this is the Shiva that first spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the Shiva that is Sada Shiva, non-different from Vishnu, and he's just dancing in ecstasy.
Can you
It's
repeat
described
this?
in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, जैसे मुरारी गुप्ता जी के बारे में बताया कि जब भी वो ट्रेवल करते हैं तो डायरी रखते हैं और चैतन्य महाप्रभु उसमें जो भी पास टाइम से लीला है वो सारी रिकॉर्ड करते हैं और वही चैतन्य चरित्र अमृत में हमें प्राप्त होती है. सारी जितनी भी लीला है और कथाएं हैं. तो sorry, I could not follow the next sentence. Ecstasy one. Yeah. How
He's just Lord Chaitanya is crying and dancing in ecstasy in front of Lingaraj.
So Lord
And
Chaitanya,
you may want to say, well, why is that? He's just, he's not Lord Jagannath, he's Lingaraj.
Yeah. So Lord Chaitanya जब भी लिंगाराज के पास आते हैं तो वो बहुत भाव विभोर हो जाते हैं और बिल्कुल मदहोश होके उनकी जो है वो स्तुति में मगन हो जाते हैं, एक्सटेसी में खो जाते हैं.
So Lord Chaitanya was ecstatic, and in his ecstasy, he spontaneously spoke the Shivastakam, 8 prayers in glorification of Lord Shiva.
So basically,
in his ecstasy.
So basically, ये उनका बहुत ही उत्तम और भक्ति पूर्ण भाव ही था जिसमें उन्होंने ये पूरा जो शिवाष्टकम है वो पूरा उन्होंने लिखा, उनकी स्तुति की श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने लिंगा राजा की.
Yeah, so we just read one verse. We don't have time to go over it all. It's fascinating. And Murari Gupta, as Lord Chaitanya was speaking, Lord Chaitanya did not write it, he spoke it, and Murari Gupta is writing it.
So basically वो इस तरह बताते नहीं थे चैतन्य महाप्रभु कि आप ये लिखें. He didn't spoke, right? But he was writing everything, observing, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Now the next question is, who's Murari Gupta?
जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि जैसे प्रभु जी ने कहा कि जो मुरारी गुप्ता है उनको चैतन्य महाप्रभु डिक्टेशन नहीं कराते थे बल्कि उनको बताते, बल्कि वो ऑब्जर्व करते थे और पूरी पास्ट टाइम्स लीलाएं लिखते थे. तो अब सवाल ये आता है कि मुरारी गुप्ता कौन है?
Let's go to the next slide. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Hare Krishna. Yes, Hare Krishna. Okay. Here we have on this slide a picture of Arjuna and Krishna, and I've superimposed pictures of Hanuman. Why? Because Hanuman is on the flag of Arjuna's chariot. And Murari Gupta, let me finish this. Murari Gupta is Hanuman in Chaitanya Leela.
So basically प्रभु जी यहाँ बता रहे हैं कि इस पिक्चर में आप देख सकते हैं अर्जुन कृष्णा है और फ्लैग वाले स्थान पर हनुमान जी हैं। इसी तरह चैतन्य लीला जब होती है तो उसमें मुरारी गुप्ता जो है हनुमान के रूप में आते हैं।
Okay, so now it's the plot thickens a little bit. Oh, so Murari Gupta's Hanuman. And here, let me read this. This is from a lecture, just quickly, from Los Angeles in 1974. Prabhupada says, Arjuna's chariot was with flag marked with Hanumanji. So Arjuna kept upon him Vajragagji, Hanuman, because he considered Hanuman his guru. Okay, so just translate that.
Yeah. Okay. So basically lecture में श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने 1974 में बताया है कि जो अर्जुनास का जो रथ था उसमें फ्लैग के ऊपर मार्क था हनुमान जी का। हनुमान जी वॉज देयर, हनुमान जी वहाँ थे पूरे रथ के ऊपर। सो अर्जुना जो है वो उन्होंने बेसिकली इनको वज्रा गजी के तौर पर यानी हनुमान जी के रूप में स्थित समझा था और उनको पता था कि ये मेरे गुरु हैं एक्चुअली हनुमान जी।
Yes, so this is interesting. This is the only place I could find where Prabhupada says anything that Arjuna's guru was Hanuman.
Yes, so ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात है। It's really a revealing information कि अर्जुन जो है वो हनुमान जी को अपने गुरु के रूप में समझते थे कि प्रकट है वो।
So Murari Gupta is Hanuman, and Murari Gupta is taking down these prayers of Lord Chaitanya in front of Lingaraj, 8 prayers in glorification of Shiva, and Hanuman is actually Shiva.
Okay, so
His intrinsic identity is Shiva because Hanuman's the topmost devotee of Ram.
So basically, जो मुरारी गुप्ता है, मुरारी गुप्त जो है वो बेसिकली सारी राइटिंग करते हैं चैतन्य लीला की और जितने भी पैस्टाइम्स हैं लॉर्ड चैतन्य के। इसी तरह से जो हनुमान जी हैं वो भी जो लॉर्ड शिवा हैं उनके रूप हैं, उनके ही अवतार हैं बेसिकली। So it's an extension of Lord Shiva. We call it Hanuman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We follow Ram Leela, Krishna Leela, and Chaitanya Leela, and we see connections.
तो ये सब connected है, राम लीला, चैतन्य लीला और कृष्ण लीला।
Yes. So Hanuman as Shiva is taking down the Shivastakam as spoken by Lord Chaitanya in front of Lingaraj, who is actually Sadashiva Vishnu. Confusing, I know, but see if
It's
you
very
can
confusing. Yeah. Maybe half and half sentence. Yeah, we want to learn actually half sentence.
We're trying to make connections here of how Shiva is relevant to Krishna Bhaktas, specifically in the Chaitanya tradition.
So basically हम ये समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि लॉर्ड शिवा जो है वो उनका महत्व क्या है चैतन्य लीला की जब हम बात करते हैं तो।
I tell you what, let's go to the next slide, okay? Because we'll get farther into this.
Ramanatha Sukha Prabhu's talks are not for the faint of heart. They're for those who want to go very deep.
If I'm not careful, I'll confuse myself.
Gunakalna has invited her. She's come all the way from Helsinki, Finland, to attend to Gunakalna.
She loves Krishna and she loves Shiva. No.
She stayed up all night and fasted for Lord Shiva last night.
Thank you very much for joining. May I kindly make some announcement because audience.
Yes.
Okay. जितने भी डिवोटीज जिन्होंने ज्वाइन किया है उनके मन में जो भी प्रश्न है या जो भी उनके विचार है हम एंड में 10 से 15 मिनट हमारे पास होंगे। आई थिंक वी हैव नाउ 15 मिनट्स क्योंकि 10 बजे खत्म होने वाला है तो हम 5 मिनट बाद
Let me try and finish it up and then open it up for questions.
Exactly.
Okay.
Prabhuji, we have 5 minutes, then we'll open the session for question answer.
Okay, that's okay. No, that's okay.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
I'll anyway, yeah,
Thank you.
exactly. It's hard to actually explain everything even succinctly.
So,
So Hanuman is a Rudra expansion. He's the 11th Rudra of Shiva. That is Hanuman. And
Hanuman
here in
11,
this,
yeah, sorry.
yeah, here
हनुमान जी जो है
Prabhupada
वो
says once, let me just, go ahead, translate now, read this.
हनुमान जी 11वें जो है वो रुद्र के तौर पर रूप में समझे जाते हैं और पूजे जाते हैं. या प्लीज.
Yeah, one should worship the Rudra incarnations of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a great hero.
जो भी I didn't get, sorry.
It's right here in the on the slide. Purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 232. Prabhupada says one should worship the Rudra incarnations of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a great hero.
Okay.
Prabhupada.
जो भी रुद्र
Purport.
जो अवतार है उनकी वर्शिप करता है शिवा के रूप में, तो वो बहुत बड़े चैंपियन या हीरो के तौर पे प्रसिद्ध होते हैं.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, now this is a image of Sadbhuj, who is 6 arms. 2 arms are of Ramchandra, 2 arms of Krishna, and 2 arms of Chaitanya.
So basically सतभुज है, इसमें 2 आर्म्स जो हैं वो रामचंद्र के हैं, 2 आर्म्स कृष्णा के हैं, 2 आर्म्स श्री चैतन्य के, राइट प्रभु?
That's okay, we don't need to read this.
Sure.
So let's go to the next slide. I'll make it short, it's okay. But the point is, in Krishna consciousness, we worship Ram, Krishna, Chaitanya, and it's the same personality, but with different functions.
So same
It's the supreme
personality है,
personality, it's Krishna.
या सेम कृष्णा है बट डिफरेंट फंक्शन के
Yeah.
साथ आते हैं. जैसे लॉर्ड चैतन्य भक्त के भाव को हमें समझाने के लिए आते हैं. कृष्ण जो है वो ऑब्वियसली भगवान है, सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉड हेड है. तो एक ही पर्सनालिटी है कृष्णा, बट डिफरेंट लॉर्ड रामा, लॉर्ड चैतन्य डिफरेंट फॉर्म, डिफरेंट भगवान के रूप में आते हैं.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. Next slide.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Yeah.
Okay, no, back up.
Yeah.
Back. There you go. Okay, let me read it, okay?
Yeah.
Now, this is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 17:1-2-3 here, okay?
Yeah.
It says, Prabhupada says, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness has its world center in Navadvip, Mayapur. The managers of this center should see that 24 hours a day, there is chanting of the holy names of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with the addition of Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. For this song was a favorite of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Go ahead, translate.
Okay, so International Society for Krishna Consciousness ISKCON की जो है वो वर्ल्ड सेंटर है, उनका दुनिया का बड़ा सेंटर है नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम के अंदर. और जो इसके मैनेजर्स हैं, जो इस सेंटर की देखभाल करते हैं, उनको देखना चाहिए 24 आवर्स अ डे वहाँ चैंटिंग ही हो रही होती है हरे कृष्णा महामंत्र की.
Now, this is important because after Lord Chaitanya left the Lingaraj temple and was going towards Puri to have darshan of Jagannath Balaram Subhadra, he was in ecstasy chanting Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, because Hare Haraya is Harihara. He was glorifying Harihara, the Lingaraj. He just had darshan of Lingaraj, Harihara.
So basically लॉर्ड चैतन्य जब दर्शन करने जाते हैं जगन्नाथपुरी में जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा जी के, तो बहुत ज्यादा वो एक्सेसी में होते हैं, भाव विभोर हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि लिंगा राजा के उनको दर्शन जो है वो प्राप्त होते हैं.
So this is, I hope you're following these connections, because not all devotees in the Hare Krishna movement have heard these kind of explanations. I'm kind of like digging deep and trying to excavate these inner confidential relationships between Krishna, Chaitanya, and Shiva, and connecting it all towards love of Krishna, specifically Radha and Krishna.
So basically इस तरह के कॉन्सेप्ट्स आपको समझने के लिए बहुत दुर्लभ ही प्राप्त होते हैं और प्रभु जी इस पे काफी रिसर्च कर रहे हैं और इस पे एक्सपर्ट हैं प्रभु जी। तो अगर आपका कोई प्रश्न है, कोई सवाल है तो कृपया पूछिए इस विषय में।
Let's do the last slide and I'll just mention it quickly and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah.
Okay, without reading this is the story that many people know about Lord Shiva drinking poison from the churning of the ocean of milk. Okay, do you want to translate?
जो हम स्टोरी पढ़ते हैं लॉर्ड शिवा की, वो पॉइजन पी रहे होते हैं समंदर मंथन से। तो बेसिकली उसका बहुत बड़ा नरेशन आता है श्रीमद् भागवतम में चैप्टर 7-8 कैंटो के अंदर। जितने भी आप सब जानते हैं कि डेमीगॉड्स होते हैं या असुरास होते हैं, वो कंजॉइंटली काम करते हैं कि उनको अमृत प्राप्त हो जाए। लेकिन जो पहली चीज जो मैनिफेस्ट होती है उस पॉइजन को निकालने में, उसको सागर मंथन के दौरान वो पॉइजन होता है जो कि सारी ह्यूमैनिटी के लिए थ्रेट होता है, डेंजर होता है।
Okay. Now, the reason I bring this into the conversation is that Prabhupada says in a purport and another in a purport, this Shiva is also Sadashiva.
ये इसलिए बता रहे हैं,
yeah, this Shiva is also Sadashiva.
ये वाले जो शिवा है जो पॉइजन लेते हैं अंदर, वो सदा शिवा है, ये प्रभुपाद ने बताया है।
So Advaita Acharya, Gopeshwar Mahadev, Lingaraj, and Shiva that drinks the poison, it's all Sadashiva. Properly understood, it's Vishnu, not different. Usually we make the distinction between Shiva and Vishnu, but in these cases, it's the same, absolutely the same.
So basically हम ये समझ सकते हैं कि जो लॉर्ड शिवा है, सदा शिवा है, अद्वैत आचार्य जी है, भगवान कृष्णा है, वो मोर और लेस उनका एक ही फंक्शन जो है वो नजर आता है इन सारी लीलाओं में। तो कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है इनका।
And there's also a symbolism, and then I'll open it up. I'm trying to make it very quick. Shiva drinking the ocean of poison, the poison is symbolizing Mayavad impersonalism.
Wow.
That's the poison that infects us.
So basically ये जो poison ले रहे हैं वो मायावाद का poison है। शिवा is not promoting मायावाद, बल्कि वो तो poison ले रहे हैं उसका।
Many people, many Shaivites and devotees in general, they think that Shiva is a Mayavadi.
बहुत सारे devotees कहते हैं कि शिवा मायावादी है, शून्यवादी है।
Not a Mayavadi. He's a great devotee, Vaishnava, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu.
तो वो एक्चुअली मायावादी नहीं है, वो भगवान के बहुत बड़े भक्त हैं, वैष्णवा नाम यथा शंभु।
So the quicker we can get to understanding Shiva as a Vaishnava, connecting it to Lord Chaitanya, connecting that to Radha and Krishna, we can all advance very nicely in our in our Krishna Bhakti and chant the Hare Krishna mantra with devotion.
जब हम समझेंगे शिवा का जो कनेक्शन है लॉर्ड कृष्णा से, श्री चैतन्य से, जो शास्त्र में बताया गया है, हरिविलास भक्ति है या प्रभुपाद के कोट्स हैं या बुक्स हैं, तो हम समझेंगे कि इट्स वेरी 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 रेलेवेंट एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट।
I took you on a little journey here, starting with Prabhupada having a vision of Shiva coming to Bhuvaneshwar and all what Bhuvaneshwar means in relationship to Gopeshwar Mahadev. Anyway, let's open it up for questions.
So
I have a question.
Yeah. Sawal, please open questions open for, I mean, forum is open for questions. Yeah.
Thank you for taking us on that amazing journey, Ramanatha Prabhu. I can see the potential is there for many more hours of discussion.
Yeah, it can be developed deeper, but anyway, we're trying to do
question for you. Question.
I have a question.
Can I just ask my question? I'll be finished.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I have one question, Hare Krishna.
Oh,
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
then maybe I'll shut up
Ramanatha
and let
Prabhu.
everyone else ask.
Let's take from the audience. We can talk later.
Yeah.
Okay,
I want to see what I want to see what I've stimulated in the audience. here.
Go for
ahead.
it.
Sure. Yes, Ramsakha Prabhu. Please continue. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful discourse, Prabhuji. A question is that why Lord Shiva is putting the Tripund Tilaka? Kindly explain.
Actually, Shivratri, you can explain it better than me.
Okay. Actually, we learned it from Ramsakha Prabhu. He was imparting the knowledge to us. Samandar Manthan, by churning of oceans and other things. So there were two parties, demigods and asuras, and there was to make that some differentiating point. So they were all wearing the same tilaka. That was Lord Vishnu tilaka. So that was discovery of different separate tilaka. ऐसा ही है रामसखा प्रभु. Is it so? कि समंदर मंथन के दौरान जो है.
Yes, some I listen to some different story.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, मैं एक story
Yes.
सुन रहा था.
Yes. Yes.
I speak in Hindi. Yes.
So, yes.
मैं एक स्टोरी सुन रहा था जिसमें ये बताया गया कि एक दफा क्या हुआ, देवताओं का असुर का जो है ना फाइट हुआ, युद्ध हुआ.
Okay.
तो उस युद्ध में जो है वो आपस में सब लड़ रहे थे.
Sure.
तो सारे देवता जो है वो मिल करके जो है वो भगवान कृष्ण के पास गए पूछने के लिए कि इनसे कैसे हम जीत सकते हैं और ये युद्ध समाप्ति नहीं हो रहा, क्या किया जाए.
Yes.
तो भगवान कृष्ण उन्होंने जो ना सहायता मांगने के लिए गए.
Sure.
तो भगवान कृष्ण ने कहा ठीक है मैं चलूं, मैं आपको सपोर्ट करूंगा, मैं सहायता करूंगा. तो
Yeah.
भगवान आए तो भगवान ने अपना सुदर्शन चक्र उनको मारने के लिए निकाला. तो लेकिन भगवान ने देखा तो सबने जो है ऊर्ध्व पुंड्र तिलक धारण किया था, यानी जो वैष्णव तिलक होता है.
Yeah.
तो भगवान ने कहा कि मैं इनको नहीं मार सकता क्योंकि मेरा सुदर्शन चक्र वापस आ गया है, इनका वध नहीं हो सकता है. तो फिर क्या किया जाए. तो फिर शिवजी ने जो है वो क्या किया, शिवजी ने जो है वो ये त्रिपुंड नामक तिलक धारण किया और असुरों को भ्रमित किया और असुरों को ये बोला कि ये तो ऊर्ध्व पुंड जो तिलक होता है वो ये तिलक जो है किसी काम का नहीं है, इसका कुछ इतना लाभ नहीं है. आप ये त्रिपुंड नामक तिलक धारण करो तो हम शक्तिशाली हो जाएंगे. तो फिर जो है शिवजी ने त्रिपुंड नामक तिलक धारण करके, जैसे जो हॉरिजॉन्टल में होता है इस तरह, तो वो तिलक धारण करके जो है वो उन्होंने असुरों को जो है वो बिविल्डर किया, नहीं उनको वो किया, भ्रमित कर दिया. और उसके बाद जो है भगवान कृष्ण का सुदर्शन चक्र ने क्या किया, सारे असुरों को विनाश कर दिया.
Wow.
तो ये रीजन जो है मैंने एक टाइम पे सुना था.
रेफरेंस क्या है इसका, कहाँ से सुना था?
May I add something?
I listen when devotees lecture in this.
अच्छा. प्रभु जी,
Can you have a translation?
Let me add. I want to add something. We're going to have follow-up sessions to talk about Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
There's so much we can talk about Lord Shiva.
Sure.
Today, let's try and focus on what I talked about.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. कोई और सवाल है किसी का? Yes, Gaura Prabhu, you were asking, you wanted to ask some question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just wondering because, we're not supposed to ask for anything material in the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. It's the defense to consider the chanting of the holy names to be an auspicious ritualistic activity, according to Karma Kanda. My question is that there seems to be another ocean of poison in the world since the COVID-19 hit. So my question is it appropriate for us to pray for those of us who view the vaccine as another kind of poison? Would it be incorrect to pray to Lord Vishnu, to Lord Shiva, excuse me, asking him to please protect us from
drink that ocean of poison of COVID-19?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that all right? Can we ask him?
I said the same thing in my seminar at School of Bhakti, and it went right over people's heads. Thank you, Gaura, for a great question. I think you're absolutely right on the money.
Okay, thank you.
किसी
But I'm just wondering, is it because we're not supposed to petition the Lord or
It's okay. The point is, you can make the analogy of the poison ocean to COVID-19 that's threatening the whole planet. But in a symbolic way, I was also saying the poison is also the poison of impersonalism in Mayavad. That's another way of looking at it. But yeah, COVID. So in this pastime of Lord Shiva drinking the ocean, actually it was Vishnu who wanted Shiva to do it. But then when you further understand deeper, this aspect of Shiva is Vishnu.
So any other question, please? किसी और का कोई सवाल है?
Got it, Gaura?
माता जी
जी. Who is speaking? Please continue.
No,
हरे कृष्णा माता जी मूलचंद
जी प्रभु जी. हरे हरे कृष्णा. You know,
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये
yes, this devotee has joined from other part of the country, from Hyderabad. It's a other city. So,
Oh, Hyderabad, yeah, it's close by, right?
जी प्रभु जी, yes.
Do you have
जी माता जी
questions?
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जैसे सोल जो है वो भगवान के पास पहुंचती है और सुपर सोल जो है वो भगवान में चली जाती है, विष्णु जी की डेथ होती है, तो शिवा जो है वो वैष्णव नाम यथा शंभु है, डिवोटी है. मैंने किसी एक लेक्चर में जो है आई थिंक राधा कृपा देवीदास से पूछा था, तो उन्होंने कहा था कि शिव भी जो है शिव की भी जो है वो डेथ हो जाती है, तो वैष्णव नाम यथा शंभु है, डिवोटी भी है, तो क्या वो भगवान के धाम में नहीं पहुंचते क्या?
Okay, Prabhuji, he is asking question that soul is being resides with super soul whenever some devotee finishes his experience on earth. So what happens with Shiva devotees? Because Shiva ultimately gets destruct as well some year after, you know.
What happens to Shiva devotees? I don't know.
They go to Shiva Loka, don't they?
Yeah, they could go, if they're really devoted, they could go to Shiva Loka. Maybe they'll get impersonal liberation. The point is, it's not eternal. The only eternal shelter is Vaikuntha and Goloka Vrindavan.
So basically, प्रभु जी ये बता रहे हैं कि वो जो शिवा की जो एग्जिस्टेंस है वो भी परमानेंट नहीं है. बहुत सारे सालों के बाद शिवा की भी डिस्ट्रक्शन हो जाती है. तो जो डिवोटीज हैं लॉर्ड विष्णु के, कृष्णा के, वो इटर्नल है. एंड वो वैकुंठ लोका या गोलोक धाम वृंदावन में जाते हैं, रिसाइड करते हैं. पर शिवा के भक्तों का फिर से अवतरण हो सकता है क्योंकि शिवा खुद भी जो है वो डिस्ट्रक्टेबल है. That suffices some answer.
The Bhagavatam says that impersonal Brahman realization is not eternal. Is not eternal. They fall down to the material world again.
So there has been a family over there. We can all see children and
Kirtan Kumar.
yes.
Kirtan Kumar.
Yeah. Any
They
other?
have a whole big ashram.
Kanaya Prabhu is
Thank you.
Anything in chat? Any other questions
Please ask
about what I
question.
just talked about?
Yeah, sure.
Any questions? Thank you. Just want to say thank you for this wonderful session. And all these kids are also saying thank you. Thank you.
So Kanaya Prabhu, I think wants to add something. Yeah. Yes, Kanaya Prabhu, go ahead, please.
Prabhu, Dhanal Pranam. Thank you for this wonderful session. Prabhu, I want to ask, in one lecture I heard, we can't use Yudraksh Mala to chant Hare Krishna. But Lord Shiva is Karam Vaishnav.
Okay.
He used to chant. Then why we can't use this Mala?
आपका सवाल क्या है कि रुद्राक्ष माला में वो करते हैं?
मैंने एक जगह पे सुना था कि हम रुद्राक्ष माला यूज नहीं कर सकते जब हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र चैन करते हैं, लेकिन शिव जी तो परम वैष्णव हैं, यूज कर सकते हैं. तो
Prabhuji, he is asking that why devotees of Lord Krishna are being not able to use Rudraksh Mala, and it's specified for Shiva devotees. So please give us clarification.
Yeah, Rudraksha is for Shiva, and Tulsi or Neem Mala is for Krishna Bhaktas. We chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and we use specific wood for that. I mean, I suppose if you wanted to chant on Rudraksha, you could do it, but I've never heard it explained, to do it that way.
Okay.
The point is, the point is, Shiva wants us to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. He wants us to advance in our love for Krishna, Radha and Krishna. That will please Shiva. Today's Shivratri, you want to please Shiva, you advance in your Krishna consciousness by chanting not Om Namah Shivaya, you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
But malas alternatively could be used, is it? Any mala.
Any mala, but Vaishnavas recommend Tulsi or Neem.
Yeah, we recommend Tulsi, but we don't recommend it.
Tulsi mala is preferred actually. Yeah. Yes. Rudraksha mala has got not that much significance as compared to Tulsi mala. हम सब भक्तों के लिए तुलसी माला रिकमेंडेड है, तो उसी से प्रसन्न होंगे। तो कोई और सवाल किसी का, अगर किसी का कोई प्रश्न है तो कृपया पूछिए। Thank you very much, Kanaya Prabhu. Yeah.
Is there anything in the chat or anything else I should know about in terms of questions?
No, there isn't anything significant. I am just checking out. कोई और सवाल है किसी का?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
This is Sunita. Hare
Yes.
Krishna to everyone. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
I want to ask one question.
Yeah.
Why Lord Shiva takes the Trishul? I mean, what do you mean, the meaning of Trishul?
The meaning of Trishul?
In hand of Shiva.
In his hand, yes.
I don't know. I sometimes joke with the devotees that Lord Shiva is Gopeshwar Mahadev in Vrindavan. You actually have to go through that barrier of Lord Shiva to enter Vrindavan, and if you're not qualified, he's take his Trishul and say, "Get out." But I don't know. There's some stories there, I'm sure, about the how he got his Trishul. Maybe you know, Nityaratha, better than me. There's so much information about Lord Shiva that Prabhupada did not teach about. So I'm not exactly like a scholar or something, but I'm trying to make the connection with Shiva and Krishna Bhakti.
Sure. As far as I know, it is because he is being personified with destruction of srashtis. He has that function, so he has Trishul as well for cultivation sort of such functions. That's the answer, Sunita Maheshwari. Thank you for your question. Acha, one more question is there from Murchand ji. Before initiation, can we have chanting start as Maha Mantra on Tulsi Mala? Before initiation, can we have? He is asking.
Can we have what?
Chanting of Maha Mantra on Tulsi Mala.
Yes, very good.
Yes.
Then the question is, who is Tulsi Devi? And that's that's a whole nother side issue. Tulsi Devi actually is very important for Vrindavan also.
So
Vrindavan.
yes, actually, so कर सकते हैं. प्रभु जी कह रहे हैं कि हम कर सकते हैं. One more question. According to Vishnu Puran, Vishwakarma created this Trishula using the matter from the sun and gave it to Shiva. Yes, it's a one pastime. Thank you very much, Kamal Soni, for your input.
There's so much. I'm still, learning so much about Shiva.
Yeah, thank you.
But for the devotees of Krishna, I'm trying to make that connection. How do the devotees of Krishna understand Shiva?
Chetan Prabhu,
and relate
please
to
go
Shiva
ahead.
and worship Shiva.
Yeah. Yes, please continue. Chetan Prabhu. Please continue. We can't hear you.
Vision.
or you can message us because we
Yes.
can hear.
Yes. Mataji,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's
Can you
audible.
hear me?
Now it's audible.
Mataji, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
फ्रिज में देखो कुछ पड़ा तो नहीं
We really can't hear now.
Is it okay? Can you hear me? I think that there's
Yes,
a connection problem.
now, yes.
Okay. I just have a simple question. This is regarding the slide that we were using. It was mentioned that Arjuna was a devotee of Lord Hanuman, and it was also said that Prabhupada stated in a lecture that hello, can I continue?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, Prabhupada said in a lecture, as quoted in the slide, that in order, like Arjuna was a devotee of Hanuman, and in order to, it might sound like to be a materialistic question, but in order to be a hero or any kind of, to gain any kind of power, you need to worship the Rudra avatar of Lord Hanuman, or I mean,
not exactly of Hanuman. Prabhupada said just worship the Rudras. But
yes,
properly understood, Hanuman is the 11th Rudra expansion of
Rudra
Shiva.
avatar.
Yeah.
But my question is, Prabhu, the image shown in that slide was of Panchmukhi Hanuman. So should we consider the Rudra avatar to be the Panchmukhi Hanuman? Is that what?
Oh, maybe that's my fault for including that image that's not actually proper.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, I make mistakes.
Ramsaka Prabhu, you would like to question? Yeah, please proceed. Yeah.
My question is already done, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Hare
Any
Krishna.
other question from audience? Prabhuji, actually, I wanted to learn regarding presence of Sadashiva, Shambhu in higher planets. How we categorize Kailash Lok, Mahakal Lok, Rudra Lok, Shiva Lok. How we categorize?
Well, there's Maheshdam, where Lord Shiva resides. Lord Shiva also resides somehow mystically on Mount Kailas, right?
Okay.
Well, if you look at Mount Kailas, how is he residing there?
Sure.
It's pretty cool. But there's also a Maheshdam. That Maheshdam it's in Vaikuntha, but it's like it's not exactly like the Vaikuntha planets, but
sure.
it's not the material world either. So Lord Shiva and Parvati reside there, and many of his devotees also reside there. The point is, we're not desiring to go live with Shiva. We're approaching Lord Shiva as a guru to help us advance in Krishna bhakti. Then it's okay. Then actually worship of Shiva, Prabhupada says, is authorized. Otherwise, people get involved with approaching Lord Shiva for all the wrong reasons. They don't advance in Krishna bhakti.
Sure. Thank you so much. Clarification. Any other question you can ask? If there is any question.
Well, that was actually part of my question, which I didn't feel was completely answered, and that was, since we're supposed to always be asking the Lord and his servants for Krishna bhakti, is it a material desire to ask the Lord for protection from the influence of this coronavirus, or even from the influence of the vaccines? Because there's a lot of negativity going on in the world today.
We need to maintain our body to serve Krishna.
Yeah.
That's not material. We have that desire to have good health, maintain our body to serve Krishna. Now, how we do that, there's many different ways, and coronavirus is affecting the whole world. There's no harm to approach Shiva to destroy, he's the destroyer, destroy the poison, coronavirus.
Thank you. There's a lot of noise in the background.
I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe that's it. Is everyone gone?
There's 23 in the chat.
There's 23.
I heard, I don't have shastric reference, but the Trishul represents the three fundamental aspects of life, called Aida, Pingala, and Shushumna. The three basic nadis, the left, right,
Okay,
and
well,
center.
that makes sense in terms of Kundalini, because Lord Shiva is connected to Kundalini and the chakras also.
Okay. And Guna.
But what's
Guna
not known, let me finish one point.
Thank
What's
you.
not
Thank you.
understood very well is that Lord Shiva has an awakened seventh chakra. That's Goloka Vrindavan. That's his meditation, Radha and Krishna. Kundalini, opening the chakras, ultimately leading to the highest destination, Goloka Vrindavan. That is not taught by the impersonal schools of meditation and yoga.
Guna Kalna told me that someone told her that Lord Shiva represents all the different asanas. I don't know if there's any connection with that.
No,
Asanas?
I just read one yogini girl who is also ISKCON devotee. She wrote that every asana in yoga, every asana is meditating on Shiva. And I thought, and that's beautiful, actually.
That's nice. That's nothing wrong with that, but meditate on Shiva as a Vaishnava. You'll be fine. That's my point. People misunderstand Shiva like he's a Mayavadi and that he teaches Mayavadi meditation. No. That has to be promoted by the devotees of Krishna, the followers of Lord Chaitanya, because no one else knows this knowledge except us. And if we don't promote it, no one will. Lord Shiva, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but then in that case, if I am doing yoga, I do it to keep my body well, and it means that I'm not doing just fitness, but I'm doing also meditation.
Yes, that's fine.
And that's much easier.
Breathing and do the breathing, slow the breathing down, and you can clean all those chakras and balance the chakras and get your energy going, like you're like effulgent, right? That's what yoga will do. You be, because actually I'm putting together a video about this. Yoga, chakras, and meditation is connected to the intertwining snakes represented by Shiva, of the Kundalini, and of the caduceus, which is the symbol of modern health, medicine. So yoga connects us to physical health, emotional health, ultimately to spiritual health. Ultimate spiritual health is Krishna Bhakti. And leaving this body and going back to Goloka Vrindavan, that's all there in the yoga system taught by Lord Shiva.
Yeah, and then also the Saragama is also somehow related with those chakras and related.
The what? Say it again. The what?
Saragama, the notes in the scale, the raga.
Saragama,
okay.
yeah, and I was talking with one Indian doctor, and he wrote me, but there was too many terms which I didn't know, but that's also somehow could be connected also with.
There's lots of interconnections when you start understanding Shiva and how he's helping us. He's helping us, but we have to take it correctly, and then we can incorporate Shiva in our Krishna Bhakti, in our Krishna conscious lifestyle to help us become better devotees, to help us maintain good health, to help us be balanced psychologically, emotionally, so that we can actually be functioning people in this world to practice Krishna consciousness and to give Krishna consciousness, which is ultimately Lord Chaitanya's movement, to give Krishna consciousness. If we're not balanced, we'll give misunderstandings, and sometimes it goes on in the name of Krishna consciousness.
I have a reference to the Trishula from Shastra instead of speculation. According to the Vishnu Purana,
There you go.
Vishvakarma created the Trishula using the matter from the sun and gave it to Shiva. When Suryadev married Sanjana, the daughter of Vishvakarma, his wife soon became unhappy with married life due to the unbearable heat of her husband, Surya. She complained to Vishwakarma, who agreed to solve the problem. Her father came to an arrangement whereby Surya agreed to reduce his heat to accommodate Sanjana. The solar matter fell to the earth, reducing his heat by 1/8. That material was then used to make Trishul. And so that Trishul is also wielded by Poseidon, the Greek demigod of the oceans.
Yeah, Trishula. Also in the Judeo-Christian background, the devil carries a Trishula too. So
right.
they think Shiva's a devil. So I mean, my point is, to be quite honest, I don't care.
Right.
These things are not so connected to Krishna consciousness. Look, there's so much information about Shiva. My focus, and there's a big focus there, how do you connect Shiva to Krishna consciousness? And there's lots of information from Shiva Purana, that all these Puranas, but it's kind of like almost irrelevant unless you can connect it to advancing in Krishna consciousness.
Right.
I'm making the connections of Shiva as the Adi Yogi. He's the first yogi. He's teaching yoga. He's teaching bhakti yoga. He's not just teaching impersonal yoga that people teach in the schools today, the yoga schools. So anyway, there's so many things. Lord Shiva is there to help us, and Lord Shiva can help us also in preaching Krishna consciousness. We want to ultimately become good devotees of Krishna. That will please Shiva. If we want to be good followers of Shiva, if we want to show our devotion to Shiva, we do that by becoming good devotees of Krishna. That makes him happy. That's what he wants. He's a Vaishnava. He wants to see everyone advance in Krishna consciousness. That's why Advaita Acharya was praying for the avatar of the age, Lord Chaitanya, to come, because he was seeing how people were suffering. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and he would often say, yes, I came because Advaita Acharya asked me to come. I'm here. There would be no Hare Krishna movement without Lord Shiva, or at least Sadashiva. Anyway, I need to go. I need to prepare. I actually have another seminar. I need to get in touch with some of the devotees. But it's
Thank you very much, Ramanatha Prabhu.
Thank you for the opportunity. And like I said, I want to try and continue some kind of a dialogue with Nitya Radha and the devotees there in Karachi. See if we can open it up where they're actually making the connection of Shiva and Krishna Bhakti. I don't know if I made that connection today. I tried.
Yes, you did.
But thank you, Gaura. Also, your preaching was right on the money. It was very nice, to the point. Again, I don't know how many people in the congregation there were able to really relate Krishna Bhakti to what I was saying, but maybe what you were saying was much more relatable.
I think Nitya Radha did a great job translating for everyone.
Yes, very much.
I just tried my best. Yeah.
I hope that also what I was saying was to your benefit too, because I feel like you're the real jewel here. If you can benefit from some of this information to become a preacher and a leader in Krishna consciousness, that's very good.
Really grateful on behalf of entire ISKCON Pakistan devotees for your valuable time, for guidance, for such marvelous, wonderful session. And we really seek your blessings and guidance, continuation. So the journey is not end here, I must say.
No, the journey's just begun, because we'll discuss amongst us later how to continue this dialogue.
Part two.
Well, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 too.
So we can offer
And thank
humble.
you, Guna. Thank you, Guna. I know you have such a desire to learn more, Guna, and I'm so happy to see that through the difficulty and the confusion and the lack of clarity, you're still here trying to learn.
I have heard from, I have also talked with other devotees, started to ask about Shiva, and they said, somehow I start to read about Shiva, I get too much confusions. I feel like I get more clarity. I don't get
Good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
Which state did you join? I mean, where you belong to?
He's from Helsinki, Finland.
Finland.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We are so blessed to have.
She's actually one of my students in the seminars, so I know her a little bit. Yeah, she's very serious devotee. She wants to get initiated from Sankar.
Yeah.
She wants to get initiated.
Thank you very much for blessing so much nectar to us, Pakistani devotees. So we can extend humble obeisances. Vancha kalpatru vyascha.
Shivratri ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay.
Nitai Gaura Premanandi.
I have another seminar I got to get ready for, and yeah, it'll be interesting. Basically, the same information, but maybe this time I'll be able to elaborate a little more. I kept it really short, tried to keep it to the point. But I don't really know how much people understood what I was saying.
I was able to follow.
And Lingaraj and Sadashiva and
Sorry, I cannot understand what all I was asked, and reply was come. I will not understand what is the real reply of my question.
Yeah.
So
we'll give you detailed answer or to your question. Don't worry at all. Yeah.
Don't worry. There'll be follow-up talks. Yeah. Shiva Tattva is huge. It's so big. We don't realize how big it is, and it's important in Krishna consciousness. A lot of devotees don't think it's important. I say it's very important to make the connection and understand that connection.
Exactly.
So if there'll be further questions and answers, we can go deeper into our understanding and appreciation. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.